Well, hello again, everyone. Welcome in. This is Kevin Hissong with Reign Over Money. Thanks for joining me for today's episode. We are talking Social Security decisions on what to do about Social Security, when to take it, how to take it, everything that goes along with that. We've only got 20 minutes today, so we're going to go high level, medium level, and then, as this relates to the ROM diamond, this is near the top of the diamond, so we're almost done with that. And then probably later next year, we'll dive into some of the details as we get into some of the nuances of Social Security. Because at its highest level, pretty simple to understand, depending on some family situations, things like that. There can be some nuances that can complicate things a little bit. But we're going to stay at the highest level, the least complicated version of it, and at least allow you to get your arms around it a little bit if you haven't checked it out, or if maybe you've checked it out a little bit. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're getting close to retirement or Social Security. Maybe you're already taking Social Security, or if you're a long way away. There are things you can do before, leading up to, and during Social Security that do make a difference. So we're going to touch on those over the next few minutes. Again, thanks again for joining Kevin Hissong, Reign Over Money. Join us, give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter, Reign Over Money, the call sign. Visit us on the website at reignovermoney.com for more information. Very important regarding the website, especially this week, I will have some links to a couple of the websites I'll be discussing in this episode. So if you get a chance, check those out. There'll be a calculator, there'll be a break even, some other things. If you've always been interested in that and want to get a better idea, definitely check those out. So let's jump into it. I had the opportunity about 2 weeks ago. There was an industry conference here in Louisville, Kentucky, that was used to be where I bummed around a lot when I was in the financial industry. This was a National Association of Personal Financial Advisors, fee-only financial advisors, great group. Probably did conferences with them for over 20 years, but had a chance to go, got a day pass, went over to the conference, saw some former colleagues and people good to see, but also attended a couple sessions. And one of the sessions I attended, and it was very timely, was on Social Security. And the gentleman, I should have wrote down his name, I apologize, but gentleman from Nationwide Insurance did a really good job on Social Security, talking about things. And I did grab something that he said, and I thought it was perfectly said, because this is what everyone wants to know. Everyone wants to know when to take Social Security. Well, there's two things people want to know. Is Social Security going to be around when I get there? And when do I take it? The first question is easy. Yes, Social Security is going to be there. Could there be some slight changes, tweaks here and there? Sure. Because it is a big piggy bank that people are taking a lot of money out of. And if you don't fill that piggy bank up with enough money to make up for what people are taking out, you can run into some issues. But in terms of, is Social Security going to bankrupt all this hooey? No, it's not. Just stay away from that information. Again, it's just filling your head with the wrong things. So yes, Social Security will be around. But the second question is when to take it. And what he said is, he used a quote. He said, "I'm not going to tell you when to take it. I'm just going to tell you to take it seriously." And I really like that. You'll see as we get into it. For me, the decision of when to take it is going to be very simple. For many others out there, it may not be the case, but just take it seriously. And take it seriously whether you're 20 or 30 just starting out in your career, or in the middle of your career or whatnot. Take Social Security seriously. There is a fantastic website. It's ssa.gov. I will put it out on a link out on Reign Over Money. You can get a login, because I don't know if you've noticed, I think this is for everyone. They've stopped. They used to, on your birthday, they would send you a Social Security statement with all your work history, your earnings, what you would, if you were at full retirement age and all that, how much you could get. I think they've stopped sending the paper versions of those. So everything's out on the website now. If you haven't been out there, on a rainy, Sunday afternoon when you're sitting around watching football or whatever, log in, set up your account. That way you've got it. Maybe go out. A great time to do it's around your birthday each year. Just go out, check it, make sure the information looks right. Because as the gentleman from Nationwide was saying, there are mistakes that are made to your income. And that's one thing Social Security is tracking, is how much money you're making each year. And you need to make sure those numbers are correct, because there can be and there have been mistakes. So definitely go out there, take a look at that. and make sure you know that. And it's important to know your numbers for projections going forward as you're maybe working with your financial advisor, or whether you're doing it yourself using some online calculation tools. It's great to know what your assumed Social Security is going to be at different ages. So the socialsecurity.gov website has all that information and can help you plug that in, because that's really the baseline for your retirement. Social Security for many people is most of their retirement. But at the least, it should be the baseline for your retirement. And so let's get into some of those ideas and the numbers and some specifics here. First thing to understand with Social Security, two things. How do you gain Social Security, and what are some of the terms that are used? The first one is the 40 credits. I believe that's a term used. Essentially, it's 40 years of work. Social Security is going to take your top 35 years, 40 quarters of work to qualify you for full Social Security. So scratch what I said there about 40 years of work. 40 quarters of work to qualify for Social Security. And once you obtain that, you will then qualify for full Social Security benefits. The second thing to understand is your full retirement age. Now, based on your age, what is your full retirement age? For many people, it is 67. If you're, born, maybe back in the 50s or 40s or whatever, that is Social Security full retirement age was a little less than that. It was always, when I was growing up, my dad's full retirement age was 65, but it's moved up to 67 for most people. And again, socialsecurity.gov can tell you your full retirement age. And that number is very important, because full retirement age is the age when you can get your full Social Security benefit. For instance, using specific numbers here, if I retire at 67, my full Social Security benefit right now will be $2,629 a month. Fantastic. So that's FRA, full retirement age. The second part to that is you can take Social Security early. So if you're thinking about retiring early, like myself, leaving the workforce early, whatever it may be, the earliest you can take Social Security is age 62. And you can file for Social Security up to 4 months before that. So I can file at 61 and 8 months to start getting Social Security benefits at age 62. Now, there is a downside to taking your Social Security early. You get a reduction in how much you get. And if you choose it, it is your choice forever. There is one caveat to that, but it is your choice forever. So I'm going to take Social Security at age 62. And why am I going to do that? Mainly because, two reasons. One, we'll be retired early, so we'll be retiring roughly at 55. So we'll be 7 years without any Social Security income. We'll just be using our own savings and retirement accounts for that. So the income will be a nice jolt to our bottom line. But more importantly for me, I have a horrible family history. My dad passed away at 66 from a heart attack. Grandparents barely lived into their mid 70s. So for me, it totally makes sense to take Social Security early. There's a lot of factors that can go into that, but health is definitely something. Now, I may live to 80, 90, 100, and I certainly hope so. Believe me, I certainly hope so. But I am going to take that chance. So by taking Social Security early at 62, it is a 30% reduction from my full retirement age Social Security amount. So again, I said Social Security for me at age 67 would be $2,629 a month. By taking it at age 62, I'm going to reduce that to $1,886 a month. So that's a pretty big reduction. $800, I don't know, house payment, car payment, utilities, groceries, whatever. That's a big reduction. But I do start getting that income 5 years early. There is a flip side to that. For those that maybe, maybe have enough income to cover and don't need to worry about the Social Security, you have the option. You can take it up to age 70. You can elect to wait up to age 70. And if you wait, it's a bonus. So instead of the full retirement age of $2,629, if I waited till age 70, my monthly pay would jump to $3,322. That's a huge difference. If you think about Me taking it at 62 is almost $1,900, and me waiting till 70 is $3,300. I mean, that's almost double. That's extremely large. But again, what's the break even? I think it all comes down to a break even, and thank goodness, hallelujah, there are actually calculators out there where you can check this information to say, what is the break even? When will it make sense? And what do I mean by the break even? Well, if I'm going to take Social Security at 62, I want to know how long I would have to live to for that to not make sense versus taking it at 67. In other words, if I waited till 67, how long would I have to live before I would have actually received more money from Social Security than taking it at 62? Because again, 62, you're starting 5 years earlier. I'm starting 60 months earlier getting payments. So there's definitely going to be a catch-up period if I take full retirement age. And for me, it breaks down to, I would need to live till about 79, 80 years old for the break even to make sense. In other words, if I live to 79, 80 years old, going forward at that point, I would be better off having taken the Social Security at age 67. I will be amazed if I make it to 79, 80 years old. I mean, pretty healthy guy, feel pretty good, but family genes are one thing you can't outrun. So I'm pretty confident that taking it early is going to work for me. Now, my wife, on the other hand, she could even wait till 70. I mean, my wife will probably live till 125, extremely healthy. So with her, it's going to be a different decision. It'll probably either be full retirement age or waiting till 70 for my wife. But again, those are the kind of things that weigh on your mind. Is A, what do you need in terms of cash flow, and B, what is your health in regards to that? So again, it's all related because, as I said, go out to socialsecurity.gov, ssa.gov, get all your information. It will give you your early retirement payout, your full retirement age payout, and your 70-year-old payout. Take all that information and go out to one of the calculator links I'm going to put on the website, plug that information in, and it will show you your break even and maybe give you a little advice or something to think about in terms of when it would make sense to take Social Security. So again, that's pretty common sense stuff. Where it can get a little frazzled and a little crazy is death of a spouse, divorce, there's disability, there's other nuances involved that I will get into those specific details in another episode, because the divorce side and disability and everything is a specific episode. But the one thing I will say on the death side, and this happened with my mom and my dad, mom and dad had both retired and were getting Social Security. My dad passed away. When one spouse passes away, the other spouse can get the higher of the two Social Securities. And so, my mom filed that with the death certificate, and Social Security was bumped up going forward. So that's just something to remember. It's not automatic. It's something you actually have to do when one spouse passes away. So if you're listening and that's happened to you, or maybe you've got parents where that's happened, just make sure things have been filed correctly so that they're getting the right Social Security or the amount to benefit them the most. What else should we say about that? I think I mentioned, and if I didn't mention, some of the calculations that go to it, the 40 credits, it's taking your highest 35 years of earnings as an average. So if you have some fantastic years, maybe that will outweigh some of your low earning years and so on and so forth. I'm actually on the opposite side of things. I had some very good earning years in the beginning of my career, then kind of leveled off, had a few more good earning years. And then of late, with leaving the workforce and doing some consulting and some other things, the amounts haven't been as high. So my Social Security actually may drop a little bit over the next few years, but I'm not too worried about that. But those, again, are just the things to worry about going forward. In terms of, as I mentioned, Social Security being around, I'm not going to get really into it. You just have to think, when this was developed, There were a lot of people in the workforce, and nobody was getting Social Security back when it was started. Now you're at a point with the baby boomers and so on. A lot of people are drawing on Social Security, and there aren't as many people in the workforce. So it's a lot tougher to keep feeding the piggy bank for it to be paid in. Changes that could come to that, you could see the retirement ages increase so that people cannot access their Social Security for a bit longer. You may see, I don't know, there's some other tweaks and measurements they could do. But all in all, I think the biggest thing to understand is it will be there in retirement because so many people rely on Social Security really for their entire income. My mom has a small IRA that she draws from for her required minimum distribution, but the majority of her income comes from Social Security. And it's something important to know. You don't take Social Security for granted. It's a good chunk of money. And the great thing about Social Security is that you're getting cost of living raises, essentially. That's put out by the government based on inflation numbers, so on and so forth. There was a big jump when we had inflation over the last years too, in the cost of living increase to Social Security. So it is keeping up with prices and everything. So that's fantastic. So it won't always be, like I said, my 1886 that I will get. That number will increase over time to keep up with cost of living. So that's another nice feature of Social Security. But as I said, that's also something that's taking a little bit more out of the piggy bank over time. The greater cost of living increases, the less that's available for future generations in Social Security. So you may see, another thing that may happen. I think if you look on your paycheck, up to a certain point, Social Security is taken out of your earnings, and once you reach a certain threshold, there's no more Social Security taken out. I could see that threshold going away or bumping up. I think it's 106,000. I could be wrong on that. But anything over 106,000 doesn't get taken out for Social Security. That number could bump up to 150,000, 200,000. Heck, they could just remove it all together and just make anyone that earns any dollar throw more into Social Security to help feed the piggy bank. So just some things to think about there. Again, not to worry about because there's plenty of levers they can pull to adjust on that. But getting back to Social Security and how important it is to people, it's great to have a situation like my mom to see that if you don't have debt in retirement, you don't have a house payment, you don't have a car payment, you live a pretty simple life. She's in her 80s now, so everything, as I've mentioned before, is family and friends and pretty much, being close by, not going on exotic trips. A lot of people in a perfect world, you're going to retire in your 60s, you're going to travel the world if you want for a little bit. See things, do things, play a lot of golf, fish, travel, whatever it may be. You're going to spend a lot more money in your early 60s and maybe early 70s. But as you get a little bit older, people tend to stay around the home a little bit more. Your expenses reduce. The majority of your expenses are going towards healthcare, things like that. So, as long as you can stay healthy, reduce your debt, keep your debt down so you're not having a lot of fixed payments on a monthly basis, Social Security can go a long way. For many people, it's enough for them just to get by and throw maybe a required minimum distribution from an IRA on top of that. And that's plenty to live on for many people. I continue to see these numbers being thrown out about what's your number and this and that, and they're throwing out millions and millions of dollars that people need. And I've said this before, my mom and dad retired on, I think it was about $230,000. And they've had a very nice life in retirement. Unfortunately, my dad passed away early, but my mom has had a very nice life in retirement. A simple life, but for many people, a simple life is the life. And, just so something to consider there. So, from its highest level and medium level, we covered what I needed to cover with Social Security today. I think the most important thing I can say is if you haven't, go out to the Social Security website, get some information on it, start to understand what you could be earning. And again, even if you're in your 20s and 30s, it's worthwhile going out there to check it out. One, really just to make sure they've got your earnings correct. Make sure they're, the years you've worked, there are earnings calculated for those years and so on and so forth. And, start to play around with those numbers. And at least you'll have a baseline when you start developing your financial plan, whether you're retiring early or retiring on time or retiring late, to know what amount of Social Security you can count on and what other amount you'll need. Because if you draw it out from if you think of it like a triangle, you've got at the bottom level, you've got your essentials you need to live in retirement. That's the bottom level. Then you've got your discretionary, and then you've got what's called legacy, and that's their charitable giving, things like that, the money you want to pass on. So the first level, at that essential level, that's what Social Security is there to cover. Your needs. Not your wants, but your needs. That second level, your wants, that comes into play. How many wants you can have in retirement are based on how much you've saved in retirement. And if you've done a good job saving in retirement, you can have a lot of wants going forward. And then if you've done a really good job saving, or the markets do very well for you, and you're able to continue to earn money on your retirement, and that continues to grow, there's the top of that triangle with legacy, passing on money, charitable giving. Maybe it's to a school, maybe a foundation, whatever it may be, when you pass, or onto your heirs or your family as well, to create a legacy. So some things just to think about there. Again, Social Security, nothing to be scared of. It's pretty easy to understand. We will come back with another episode probably later in 2024. If you've had a divorce situation or remarrying, it gets a little funky with all that, and there are some things you need to know. And just if you're in a situation like that and you have questions, ask your financial advisor. There's plenty of resources on the web to help you understand some do's and don'ts when it comes to all those things, and disability and so on and so forth. Oh, and one last thing I will say, if you take retirement early, or you take Social Security early, you can get a do-over. You can say, whoops, I made a mistake, I don't want to take it. Let's say you take it at 62 and you're 63 now, you win the lottery. Well, maybe I don't need my Social Security right now. You can get a do-over. You have to pay all that money back that you've taken, and that can be very expensive, but you can get one do-over. And I'll get again into the nuances of that. I just kind of thought that was cool. I never knew that you could get a do-over based on your choice, but you can get one option, but it's a little wonky in how you go about getting that fixed. So we're trying to avoid that, but no, it's an option as well. So again, Kevin Hissong, Reign Over Money. I hope this episode on Social Security didn't put you to sleep, give you a little bit of more information, because it's very important, and it's exciting to know that you've worked all these years, and the government, for loving or hating the United States, or however you feel about things in the government, this is a great program, and it's helped so many people, and it will be there for you, and hopefully it can again provide the essentials and your baseline of retirement, and allow you to do some of the things you want to do in your retirement age. And some resources will be out on the reignovermoney.com website, so you can take a look at those break-even calculators and so on and so forth. It's good just to know that information. Every little bit helps when you're planning your retirement, and maybe just give you some more fuel to feed that understanding of retirement and what's going into it, so it's not so scary. Again, thanks for joining Kevin Hissong, Reign Over Money. Have a great day, and we will talk to you again real soon. Take care.